Welcome to Rainbow Hospice Care's annual memorial service. This is such an important event for us to produce every year to help you remember and honor your loved one who died under our care. We're glad to have you here, but very sad that this had to be a taped video that you're watching online with your families. But we believe in the importance of remembering your loved one because that's your new relationship with them. It's a relationship of memory. Rainbow Hospice Care is celebrating 30 years of service this year, and our theme is Extraordinary People, Extraordinary Care. And I thought that was so fitting for this memorial service because your loved one was so extraordinary. He was an extraordinary person. She was an extraordinary person. Your extraordinary loved one has died, but your love did not die with them. Your love lives on. And that is where you find yourself today, living with your grief for your extraordinary loved one who is no longer here. Your love lives on in the memories, annual Brewer games, or Packer games, or Badger games, or Bucks games. Coffee at his favorite restaurant where everyone knew his name. Listening to her sing, listening to her yodel. Sitting on Grandpa's lap while you mowed the yard together. A particular smell, even as awful as skunk smell, which earned your loved one the nickname Pepe Le Pew. Winters in Florida where you did everything together, where even watching television together was a joy. You loved being grandparents together, and you know that your purchases won't be nearly as on point as your wife's purchases were for Christmas this year. Their favorite food or favorite candy. Their amazing skills, whether that would be wood carving or quilting or drawing or painting. Their passion for hunting or baking or gardening. Holiday celebrations that were special mainly because you were together, creating those moments together, and every year creating better moments. Wearing black, which was her favorite color. Partnering in a business together. Building your dream home together. Sitting around a fire together. A granddaughter shared this about her grandmother. But it's springtime, so I've been planting a lot and creating new gardens. She and my grandfather were stellar organic farmers, so I have lots of questions for her. I just miss her happy outlook and her smile and her light laugh. I wish she could visit me and help me in my garden. But that would have never happened. She wouldn't ever leave her farm, unless to go to the flea market or to St. Vincent's to shop for picture frames. In sharing those words with me and sharing those memories of her grandmother, this granddaughter, who grieves for her extraordinary grandmother, brought her to life for me. She painted a picture of a woman who loved beautiful things and loved her home and loved her family. This woman's influence continues in her granddaughter's love of gardening. Her memory lives on. Her granddaughter will tend her grief. Grief becomes her friend. Grief can become your friend. Grief counselor Alan Wolfelt explains, as he reflects on the death of his father, when I fully acknowledge that I'll never see my father physically on this earth again, I am engulfed by an overwhelming sadness. I feel his absence, but I also feel his presence. I realize that while my father has been dead for almost 4 years, my love and admiration for him have continued to grow. The love I have for my father grows larger, undeterred by the loss of his physical presence. While I mourn, I can continue to love. The grief you carry is an expression of how much you continue to love your extraordinary loved one. Ellen would encourage you to honor your grief is not self-destructive or harmful. It is self-sustaining and life-giving. Your grief is a beautiful thing. We remember them in the memories and in the things they left behind, even as brewer hats and jars of cherries and colored pencils and black t-shirts are mementos of your loved one. So is your grief. The most important thing your loved one left behind is you. And in the grief and the love that you carry with gentleness and longing, you carry on and preserve the legacy and memory of your extraordinary loved one. I'm so happy today that we can share some music with you during this video. And the songs were written and performed by a lovely young woman named Katie Jo Earl. Katie gave us permission to use her music, and the lyrics for her songs are posted in the description below this video link. If you want to pause a moment and pull up those lyrics so that you can follow along as we listen to one of her first song. It's called Eloise, and I just want to share with you why Katie wrote this song. Katie actually works at a care center in Jefferson, Wisconsin, and it's her joy to serve the people that live there. This is what she wrote about Eloise. As a caregiver, I feel like we are all warned before beginning that we must not get too close, and we cannot get attached to these people because they are going to be gone soon. This warning is an impossible one to adhere to for me, and I believe for most of us. We do this because of our capacity to love. So what a shame it would be to hold back some of that love for the fear of it tearing us apart. This song was written about one of those residents that completely took my heart and wrapped it around her finger. She was, and still is, one of the loveliest ladies I have ever known and will ever know. Losing her hurt worse than I could ever have prepared myself for. But loving her was magic. The day I met her, she told me that she was terrible with names, but I had her sister's name, so she wouldn't forget mine. And from that first day, I was completely enthralled by her. Never once did she complain. Never did she seem cross. Even on her worst days, she greeted you with a smile and refused to let you leave her room without candy. She was selfless. She told me about her husband, about how on their first date, he brought her a jar of maraschino cherries because her friends had told him those were her favorite. And he gave her a jar every year until he died. When he proposed to her, he did it where she worked, which was an egg farm. People joked with her about how she was constantly being watched by a million eyes because of all the eggs. And one day he surprised her, and though they were the only two in the room, he said, "In front of a million eyes, I'd like you to be my wife." Those were the stories I sat and listened to for hours. So many things about her I will never forget. She would never let you say I love you without her saying more, more, more. It was her catchphrase. But better yet, she really did love you. She just loved and loved and loved, and she never held back. She did more for me than I could have ever done for her, and not one single day goes by where I do not think about her and how much better of a person I am because of her. I still give my friends lint truffles when they leave my apartment. She is the best thing that ever happened to me. And here's Katie's song called Eloise.
One day I'll have a daughter, and she will have a mother who will love her with the love that you showed me. She will grow up like a daisy with an innocence that saves me from a world where the pure aren't meant to be. And I'll try hard to be honest about the world and all its hardships, but in her heart I'll leave a magic little piece. And one day when she is older, she'll put her head upon my shoulder and ask me why I named her Eloise. I'll say, my dear, I knew a lady whose sister's name was Katie, so she said she'd never think to forget mine. It took one moment to know I loved her, and I'd put nothing above her. I'd build a world that spun around her in no time. She filled my head with all the stories of her life she had before me, and of a man who was sweet as he was kind. All it took was a jar of cherries, and soon she was married. Her hand she gave in front of a million eyes. And I wish so badly you could meet her. You would have loved her like you've never loved before. And I know if you told her that you loved her, she'd tell you that she only loved you more. I knew one day I'd have a daughter, and she would have a mother who'd want her to grow up to be like you. You changed my life for the better, and loving you was never something that was ever hard to do. But the hardest part of loving you was having to say goodbye to you. You left so much of you inside of me. And I know when she gets older, someone will lean upon her shoulder, and she'll tell them why we named her Eloise.
The artist Ella Block wrote a song for a friend that had passed, and it's entitled Things You Left Behind, and I wanted to read a few lines from that today. These are the things you left behind: an old record player, half a bottle of wine, some pictures of days gone by to remind of the joy in your smile. Oh, I'll be fine, just need some time. If you're ever around, give me a sign. And I'll look after your things like they were mine, all of the things you left behind. So many things get left behind when our loved ones pass. And we become the caretakers of those objects that hold so many cherished memories of who they were and how they lived their lives. Katie, whose song we just heard, wrote another great song called Bean. And this song, I want to read her explanation for, talks about those type of things. It says, everyone and everything grows better when they are loved. That is what the bakery lady said one day in a casual conversation during a shift at the fireside. I wrote it down as I walked away because something about it just really hit me. We really do grow better when we are loved, when we are held, when we are surrounded by friends. Plants grow better when they are watered and sang to. Animals grow better when they are petted and cuddled. This song was an ode to all my best friends, to the ones who pick me up when I am down, the ones who come out of nowhere and brought beautiful technicolor to my life, the ones who love and love and love. They are all like the loveliest things put into one beautiful body. My hope was whoever would hear this song would immediately begin thinking of someone in their life that embodies this. And just the thought of someone like this can help you grow. When our loved one passes, it can feel like our love for them may stop growing, but it doesn't. That love still grows. It grows in a different way. It grows in our memories. It grows in the warmth we feel when we see the objects and the things that they left for us. In preparation for today, we asked you to gather an object or a photograph of your loved one. And that might be a sweater, it might be a coffee cup, it might just be a favorite photograph that makes you smile. And during the song, what we'd like you to do is to hold that object, or to look at that object or that photograph, and to take in the memories you feel, to feel everything you feel about that person. And those feelings might be overwhelming, but that's okay. And at some point during the song, we would like you to say your loved one's name. Because today is about honoring their memory. It's about honoring the extraordinary person they were for you and those extraordinary feelings they left behind for you. That love and that care that overwhelms us still. So take some time as we listen to the song Bean to reflect on the gift that that person was to you and the gifts that they left behind for you to cherish and care for.
I was told one day we all grow better when we're loved. And since you've been around, I'm growing better than I was. There is chocolate and cake, guilty mistakes and candlelit dancing halls, but being loved by you beats them all. You're everything that I ever dreamed I could be. Infectiously kind, a sight for sore eyes. You love so splendidly. You're like fields of flowers and drawings on books, the tulips after the freeze. But being loved by you beats all with ease. And I know I don't deserve the way your hand fits on my shoulder. You smile when I'm sad, your beautiful laugh keeping my heart from getting older. Oh, I wish you only knew what it's like being loved by you. Out of thin air you came, and that's what I think in all of my prayers. How did I get along without ever seeing the curl in your hair? I being loved by you, being near to you, loving you beats them all.
We are thankful for each extraordinary loved one that we remembered here today. Made in the image of God and uniquely fashioned with singular gifts and talents. The evidences of who they are have been left behind. Their love for gardening, their passion for a sports team, their paintings, their drawings or carvings, their knitted scarves, the photos that tell the story of their smile, or show them in their favorite shirt, or show them holding you close. We cherish our memories. Most importantly, we hold on to the love we received from them and the love that we continue to carry for them. As one wise woman said to me last week, I never hid my love for him. I'm not going to hide my grief either. Peace be with you.